Back then, life felt like a movie. I was the CEO of Lane Innovations, a tech startup that went from nothing to millions in just 2 years. The money was flowing like water. The success was intoxicating, and my friends? They were always there cheering me on, or at least, that's what I thought. Kendra Walsh was my ride or die since college. Blonde hair that caught every light, designer bags that cost more than most people's cars, and a laugh that could light up any room. She was the first person I called with good news and bad news. Tessa Monroe was our group's Instagram queen. Perfect selfies, flawless makeup, and a style that made everyone jealous. She had 500,000 followers who hung on her every post. Jackson Reed was tall, dark, and dangerously charming. The kind of guy who could talk his way into any VIP section, get us reservations at booked restaurants, and make every night feel like an adventure. Women loved him, men wanted to be him. Colton Hayes was our comedian, the funny one who always knew exactly what to say to make us laugh. Even on our worst days, Harper Lane seemed sweet and quiet. But she was fiercely loyal, at least that's what I believed. She was the one who remembered everyone's favorite coffee order, who sent good morning texts, who never forgot a birthday or anniversary. She felt like the sister I never had in Zane Parker. He was the life of every party, connections everywhere in Chicago, from club owners to restaurant managers to event planners. If we wanted to get into somewhere exclusive, Zane was our golden ticket. We were inseparable. Shopping trips to Michigan Avenue where we'd spend entire afternoons trying on clothes we didn't need. Weekend getaways to Lake Geneva where we'd rent expensive houses and pretend we were living in a music video. Late night talks that lasted until sunrise. Sharing our deepest fears and biggest dreams. Every birthday was an event. Every celebration was over the top. Every random Tuesday became an excuse to get together and create memories. I paid for most of it, but I didn't mind. They were my chosen family, but here's the thing about success. It changes people, and sometimes it shows you who people really are underneath all the laughter and good times. It started small, little things that made my stomach twist, but that I pushed away, telling myself I was being paranoid. Like when we went to dinner at expensive restaurants in downtown Chicago. Somehow, the bill always ended up sliding across the table to me. "Oh, Brielle, you're so successful now," Kendra would say with that sweet smile that used to make me feel warm inside. "You don't mind covering this, right? We'll get you back next time." But next time never came. Next time, there was always an excuse. Kendra was between paychecks. Tessa had unexpected expenses. The guys were a little tight this month. Or when Tessa needed help with her rent. "Just this once," she promised, tears in her eyes as she explained how her brand deals had fallen through. "I'll pay you back as soon as I get my next sponsorship." But once became twice. Twice became 5 times. 5 times became me paying her rent for 3 months straight while she posted about her expensive skincare routine and designer workout clothes. Jackson always had some emergency car trouble that required expensive repairs. Medical bills from his sports injury. A family crisis that needed immediate financial help. And stupidly, I always helped because that's what friends do, right? The shopping trips got more expensive. Instead of browsing and trying on clothes for fun, suddenly everyone needed new outfits for events. "Can you spot me this dress? I promise I'll wear it to your company party so you'll look good too." The vacations got fancier. Weekend trips to Lake Geneva became week-long stays in Miami. Splitting hotel rooms became everyone getting their own suite. Economy flights became first class. And somehow, I was always the one paying. But they were my friends, right? Friends help each other. That's what I told myself every time I opened my wallet. Every time I transferred money. Every time I pretended not to notice that the help only flowed one direction. I started keeping track without meaning to. The amounts were staggering. Rent payments, car repairs, shopping sprees, vacation costs, restaurant bills in 6 months. I had spent more on my friends than most people make in a year. And what did I get in return? Their company, their laughter, their presence in my life at the time. I thought that was enough looking back now. I realized I was buying their friendship, and they were happy to let me, 6 months ago. Something inside me snapped. Maybe it was seeing my bank statements and realizing I'd spent more on my friends than on myself. Maybe it was the way they all went quiet when I mentioned being stressed about money. Maybe it was the realization that I couldn't remember the last time any of them had paid for anything. I decided to run a little experiment, a test that would show me who my real friends were. I called an emergency meeting with my inner circle. We met at our usual spot, Brew Coffee on State Street, a cozy little place in downtown Chicago where we'd spent countless hours planning our dreams and sharing our secrets. I ordered my usual latte and waited for them to arrive. Kendra came first, perfectly dressed as always, complaining about traffic, then Tessa, taking selfies with her coffee cup. The guys showed up together, laughing about something that had happened at the gym. We settled into our regular corner booth, the one we claimed as ours over the years. "Guys," I said, my voice shaking like I was about to cry. I'd practiced this moment in the mirror, but sitting there with them made it feel real. "I have really bad news. Lane Innovations is going under. We're completely bankrupt." The silence was deafening. You could hear the coffee machine hissing in the background, other customers chatting. But at our table, nothing. Kendra's perfect smile faltered for the first time since I'd known her. "What do you mean, bankrupt?" "I mean broke, done, finished. The company failed. All our investments fell through. The clients pulled out. I might lose everything, my apartment, my car." "Everything!" I watched their faces, really watched, and what I saw made my heart sink into my stomach. There was no immediate rush to comfort me. "No, we'll get through this together. No, money doesn't matter." Instead, I saw something that made me feel sick, concern, no love, not really, fear. Now that was written all over their faces, fear about what this meant for them. But you'll bounce back, right?" Tessa asked, her voice small and uncertain. "You're smart. You'll figure something out." "I don't know," I whispered, letting real tears fall. "I really don't know. I might have to move back in with my parents. I might have to sell everything I own." The discomfort in the air was thick enough to cut with a knife. Wow, Jackson said, running his hand through his hair. "That's really rough, Brielle. But nobody offered to help. Nobody said they'd be there for me no matter what. Nobody said money didn't matter to our friendship. They just sat there, looking uncomfortable, probably calculating in their heads how this would affect their free rides. The change wasn't immediate. First, the group chat got quieter. Our chat used to be nonstop. Good morning messages, funny memes, random thoughts throughout the day, plans for weekend adventures. Messages that used to fly back and forth all day became short, cold responses. "K. Yeah. Maybe later. Busy." When I tried to start conversations, they fell flat. When I shared something exciting or funny, the reactions were minimal. When I asked about hanging out, there were always excuses. Then the invitations stopped coming altogether. Kendra was suddenly too busy to hang out. Work was crazy, she said. Her boss was demanding. She had family obligations. "You know how it is, Brielle. I'll call you when things calm down." But things never calmed down. There was always something else, always another excuse. Jackson had a new girlfriend who took up all his time. She was jealous, he explained. She didn't like him hanging out with other women. You understand, right? One really liked this one. I think she could be the one. Convenient how he'd never mentioned her before my bankruptcy. Colton was dealing with personal issues and needed space to figure things out. He'd stopped making jokes around me, stopped trying to cheer me up. The funny, light-hearted guy I'd known for years became distant and serious whenever I was around. Harper started working double shifts at her job. Always working, never available. "I'm sorry, Brielle. I need the money right now. Maybe next week?" But next week never came, and the week after that, she was still too busy. Tessa was traveling more for her influencer work. Always somewhere else for some brand partnership or photo shoot. "I wish you were here." She'd post on Instagram from beautiful beaches and fancy restaurants. But she never invited me along, not anymore. And Zane just vanished, no explanations, no excuses. He simply stopped responding to my messages, stopped showing up, stopped existing in my world. For months, I played the part perfectly. I moved to a smaller apartment downtown, even though I kept my penthouse as a secret backup. I shopped at regular stores instead of designer boutiques. I took the subway instead of Ubers. I wore older clothes and talked about money stress constantly. I became the broke friend, the one who couldn't afford to join the fun anymore. And one by one, like dominoes falling, they all walked away. The hardest part wasn't losing them. The hardest part was realizing they were relieved to go October 15th, my birthday. The day that would change everything and show me exactly who these people really were. In the past, this date was sacred to our group. More important than Christmas, more celebrated than New Year's Eve. It was the one day a year that was completely about me. And they had always made it magical. Kendra would start planning weeks in advance. Secret group chats I wasn't included in. Surprise parties at expensive venues. Thoughtful gifts that showed she actually listened when I talked about things I wanted. Tessa would post Instagram stories all day long with photos of us through the years. Birthday girl appreciation post. She'd write, sharing memories from college. From our early friendship days, from adventures we'd taken together. Her followers would flood my DMs with birthday wishes from strangers who felt like they knew me through her posts. The guys would show up with flowers and stupid jokes that made me laugh until my stomach hurt. Jackson always brought roses. Colton always brought something ridiculous that became an inside joke. Zane would have planned some amazing night out at places we could never normally get into. Harper would remember every little detail. My favorite cake flavor, my lucky number for decorations, the specific way I liked my birthday coffee. She'd spend hours making everything perfect this year. I woke up in my fake small apartment with a small hope flickering in my heart. Maybe, just maybe, they still cared. Maybe money really didn't matter to them. Maybe I'd been wrong about everything, and they'd prove that our friendship was real. I checked my phone the moment I opened my eyes. No messages. I made coffee and waited an hour. Giving them time to remember. Still nothing. By 10 a.m. I was starting to worry. By noon, I was getting desperate. I had received birthday wishes from my dentist, Dr. Rodriguez. From Maria, my barista at the coffee shop who barely knew my name. From my Uber driver from 3 months ago who somehow remembered and sent a nice message. From my building's doorman, from my accountant. From people I'd met once at business conferences, but from my best friends. The people who claimed to love me like family. The people I'd spent thousands of dollars on, and countless hours with. Nothing, not a single text, not a call, not even a like on the happy birthday post my assistant had put up on my social media. By 4 p.m., I was devastated. By 6 p.m., I was angry. By 9 p.m., I was about to find out just how deep their betrayal really went, but then I saw it. The post that would destroy me and fuel my revenge all at the same time. I was scrolling through Instagram, feeling sorry for myself and wondering how I'd misjudged people so badly. When I saw Zane's story, it was just a quick flash expensive drinks with sparklers, flashing lights. Music pumping so loud, you could almost feel the bass through the phone. And in the corner of the video, partially obscured but definitely visible, I could see a logo I recognized, Velvet Edge. The most exclusive club in Chicago, the place we'd always talked about going to but never could get into. Until now, apparently, my heart started racing. I felt sick to my stomach. I clicked on Kendra's profile next. My hands shaking, her story was hidden from me. But when you own a tech company, even a bankrupt one, you learn things. You have resources, you know people who can bypass privacy settings. What I saw when I finally accessed her hidden stories made me physically ill. All of them, every single one of them. Dancing, laughing, drinking champagne that cost more per bottle than most people's rent. On my birthday without me, Kendra was in a shimmering dress I'd never seen before. Probably bought with the money she'd borrowed from me. She was dancing with some guy I didn't recognize. Looking happier than I'd seen her in months. Tessa was taking selfies with celebrities. Her followers probably going crazy over her exclusive access. She was glowing, radiant, living her best life. Jackson was at a table with beautiful women. His serious girlfriend nowhere to be seen. Funny how she wasn't too jealous to let him go to exclusive clubs. Colton was actually smiling and laughing, his personal issues apparently resolved for the night. Harper was there too. Somehow not working double shifts for once. And Zane was in his element, clearly the one who'd gotten them all in. But here's the part that didn't just hurt me. It destroyed me completely. Tessa had posted a story specifically hidden from me with a video of all of them raising glasses in a toast. The caption read, "Finally drama-free nights out. Some friendships are just seasonal. Better off without the dead weight. Here's to real friends who don't bring negativity into everything. Hashtag blessed, hashtag good vibes, hashtag sorry not sorry." I read it 3 times before it really sank in. Dead weight, that's what I was to them. Negativity. That's what my financial problems represented. That's what my financial represented. That's what my financial problems represented. Seasonal friendship, that's all we'd ever been. They weren't just excluding me from my birthday celebration. They were celebrating being rid of me. They were toasting to my absence. I sat in my fake small apartment, staring at those videos until my eyes burned. And I felt something inside me die. All the hope I'd been carrying, all the love I'd felt for them, all the memories we'd shared, it all turned to ash. But then, something else was born in that moment. Rage. Pure, clean, focused rage. And with that rage came clarity. They wanted to see what happened when the dead weight was gone. They wanted to celebrate being free of me. Fine, let me show them exactly what they'd lost. I called my lawyer. Michael had been my legal counsel since Lane Innovations started. And he was used to my late-night calls when inspiration struck. But this call was different. Michael, I need you to buy something for me tonight. Betrayal, it's almost midnight. He started, his voice groggy with sleep. Velvet Edge, the club on Rush Street. I want to own it by tomorrow afternoon. There was a long pause. The club? Betrayal, that's going to cost millions. And it's the middle of the night. These kinds of transactions take weeks. I don't care what it costs. I don't care how many people you have to wake up. I don't care if you have to offer them double what it's worth. Make it happen. Can I ask why? No, you can't. Just do it. Call their lawyers. Call their investors. Call whoever owns it. Everyone has a price, Michael. Fine, I hung up and immediately called my financial advisor, then my banker. Then 3 more lawyers I kept on retainer for different types of deals, you see. The beautiful thing about having real money, not the fake broke act, I'd been performing for months, is that everything has a price. And when you're willing to pay any price, things happen fast. Velvet Edge, despite its exclusive reputation and celebrity clientele, was just another business. A business that had been struggling since the pandemic hit. A business whose owners were drowning in debt and desperate for a bailout. By 6 a.m., I had teams of lawyers working on the deal. By 10 a.m., we had the owner's attention. By noon, we were in serious negotiations. By 2 p.m. that afternoon, less than 16 hours after I'd seen my friends celebrating my absence, I owned Velvet Edge. Every brick, every bottle of champagne, every VIP section where they'd toasted to being rid of their dead weight. The purchase price? $7.2 million, worth every penny for what I was about to do. By 4 p.m., I was in the manager's office, meeting with Marcus Rodriguez, a sharp, professional man who'd been running the day-to-day operations for 3 years. Marcus, I said, settling into what was now my chair, I want everything to go normally tonight. Don't change anything about how the club operates. He looked confused. Of course, Miss Hart. But if there are any specific changes you'd like to make, there's only one change for tonight. I have some friends who will probably try to get in. 6 people, let them in, give them the full VIP treatment. Make sure they feel special. Make sure they think they're having the best night of their lives. Marcus nodded, taking notes. And Marcus, when I give you the signal tonight, I need you to cut the music and turn on the main screen behind the DJ booth. Can you do that? Yes, ma'am. What kind of signal? I smiled. Trust me. You'll know. I spent the rest of the afternoon and evening preparing for what would either be the most satisfying moment of my life or complete disaster. There was no middle ground. First, I went home to my real penthouse, not the small apartment I'd been pretending to live in, and got ready like I was going to war. Because in a way I chose my most expensive dress. A black Valentino number that cost more than most people's cars. It hugged every curve perfectly and made me feel like the powerful woman I actually was. Not the broke, desperate person I'd been pretending to be. My jewelry came out of storage, real diamonds, real gold. Pieces that caught the light and reminded everyone who looked at them that I was not someone to mess with. I spent 2 hours on my hair and makeup, using the best products money could buy. When I looked in the mirror, I barely recognized myself. For months, I'd been playing the part of someone struggling, someone diminished, someone small. The woman staring back at me now was none of those things. At 8 p.m., I called Marcus to check that everything was set. They're already here, he told me. All 6 of them. They came together around 7:30. My staff has them in VIP section 3, the one overlooking the main dance floor. They seem to be having a great time. Perfect. Have they ordered champagne? 3 bottles so far, Dom Perignon. They're running up quite a tab. I almost laughed. Of course they were. They thought they were getting away with something. Celebrating their freedom from their broke friend. They were probably feeling so clever, so relieved, so superior. Put everything on the house, I told Marcus. Every drink, every bottle, everything. I want them to feel like VIPs. Yes, ma'am. And the screen is ready when you are. I'll be there in 30 minutes. Remember, when I signal you, cut the music and turn on the screen. I've got it. I hung up and took one last look in the mirror. For months, these people had made me feel small, worthless. Like a burden they were carrying out of pity. Tonight, they were about to learn exactly who they'd been dealing with. I drove to the club in my Porsche, another thing I'd kept hidden during my bankruptcy act. As I pulled up to Velvet Edge and handed my keys to the valet, I felt a calmness wash over me. This wasn't about anger anymore. This wasn't even about hurt feelings. This was about justice. I walked into my club at 10:30 p.m. The bass was thumping. The lights were flashing. And there they were, all of them living it up in the VIP section like they owned the place. Kendra was taking selfies with bottles that cost more than most people's rent. Tessa was dancing on tables, her followers eating up every second. The guys were living their best life, surrounded by beautiful people who were probably just as fake as they were. I watched them from the shadows, and I felt nothing. No pain, no anger. Just cold determination. I walked up to the DJ booth. "Stop the music," I whispered into his ear. The DJ looked at me confused until I showed him the ownership papers. His eyes went wide. The music cut out. The entire club went silent. Hundreds of people looked around confused. That's when the lights dimmed and the giant screen behind the DJ booth lit up. Their own Instagram posts, every single one from tonight. The videos of them dancing. The photos of them celebrating. Tessa's cruel caption about drama-free nights. And then, in bold letters across the screen, "Having fun in my club without me?" The crowd gasped. People started laughing. But all I saw were 6 faces in the VIP section. Kendra's mouth fell open. Tessa dropped her phone. Jackson looked like he was going to throw up. Colton's face went white. Harper started crying. And Zane? Zane just stared at me like he was seeing a ghost. I walked through the crowd. People moved aside like I was royalty because in that moment, in that club, I was surprised to see me? I asked, stepping into their VIP section. BRIELLE ... double quotes Kendra started. "We can explain what? How you disappeared when you thought I was broke. How you excluded me from my own birthday. How you celebrated being free of me." Tessa was crying now. "It's not what it looks like. It's exactly what it looks like. And you know what the funny part is? I was never broke. Lane Innovations is doing better than ever. I just wanted to see who my real friends were." The music started again. But softer. The crowd was still watching our little drama unfold. "So you lied to us?" Jackson asked, trying to sound angry instead of embarrassed. "I tested you. And you all failed. Do you want to know what hurts the most?" I asked, looking at each of them. "It's not that you used me for money. It's not even that you abandoned me when you thought I was broke." I paused, letting the weight of my words sink in. "It's that you were relieved. You were happy to be rid of me. My best friends, people I loved like family, were celebrating my downfall." Harper finally spoke up. "Betrayal, we were just what? Just tired of pretending to care about me? Just glad you didn't have to fake friendship anymore." The silence was deafening. "I gave you everything," I continued. "My time, my money, my heart, and the moment you thought I had nothing to give. You couldn't run away fast enough." Kendra tried one last time. "We're sorry, we made mistakes, but we can fix this." With what? More lies? More fake smiles? More pretending you care about me when you only care about my wallet? I looked around at all of them. These people I'd shared my deepest secrets with. People I trusted with my life. "Here's what's going to happen," I said. "You're going to finish your drinks, you're going to walk out of my club, and you're never going to contact me again." "Betrayal, please," Tessa begged. "The drinks are on the house," I said loudly. "Consider it a going-away present." I watched them leave. One by one, they walked past me with their heads down. Some tried to apologize. Others just looked angry that they'd been caught. But I felt nothing but relief. The crowd started cheering. Strangers were coming up to me, telling me how awesome that was. The DJ played my favorite song. And for the first time in months, I smiled, a real smile that night. I stayed at the club until it closed. I danced with strangers who became friends. I laughed with people who didn't know how much money I had and didn't care. And I realized something important. I wasn't sad about losing those friends. I was happy about finding myself again. The next week, I had lunch with my actual friends. People from work who liked me for my brain, neighbors who borrowed sugar and returned it, people who texted me just to see how I was doing. Not because they needed something, real friends. Months passed. I heard through the grapevine that my former friends tried to spin the story. They told people I was crazy, that I was cruel, that I'd tricked them. But Chicago is a small city in some ways, and the truth has a way of getting out. People knew they'd used me, people knew they'd abandoned me. People knew they'd gotten exactly what they deserved. I learned to value myself. I learned that being alone is better than being with people who only love your money. I learned that real friendship isn't about what you can give. It's about who stays when you have nothing left to offer. And I learned that sometimes the best revenge isn't getting angry, it's getting even. This story serves as a reminder that true friendship isn't measured by what someone can give you, but by who they are when you have nothing left to offer. Real friends stay. Fake friends reveal themselves, and sometimes the universe gives you exactly the tools you need to teach the right lesson at the right time.